on our citizen participation. At this time, we will move on to presentations. The first being Emily Luna from the Latin American Youth Center. Maryland Multicultural Youth Center will provide information on their services. Good evening.
Good afternoon, Mayor Adams, council members, constituents, and guests. My name is Emily Luna, and I am a case manager at the Maryland Multicultural Youth Center located in Riverdale, Maryland. Our mission is to empower a diverse population of youth to achieve a successful transition to adulthood through multicultural, comprehensive, and innovative programs that address youth social, academic, and career needs. The Host Home programs works with youth residing in Maryland who are at risk of homelessness, runaway, and/or are homeless. Our programs provide access to basic needs, case management, referrals to internal, external organizations, and access to emergency shelters. Due to COVID, it has been hard to spread the information and services that we provide, in addition to asking our surrounding communities for help spreading this information. Given this, we are currently in need of host parents to assist housing our youth ages 12 through 17 in the necessity of hospitality for up to 21 days. All homes are screened and certified before placements are considered. In addition, if you are aware of any youth who are homeless and/or at risk of homelessness or runaway youth, I am able to provide preventative services such as food, clothing, hygiene kits, applying for medical insurance, etc. If you are interested in becoming a host parent or know of anybody who's interested, please let me know and feel free to contact me. In addition, if you are aware of any youth who is in between the ages of 12 through 17 who anybody believes can benefit from joining our program, please feel free to contact me at 301-991-4325, or please reach out through email, emily.luna@layc-dc.org. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so very much.
Sure.
At this time, we'd like to do a presentation of a proclamation to Evelyn Policarpio. I hope I got that right. Policarpio. I got it. And we're so proud. She was the 2022 Prince George's County Teacher of the Year. Please come to the light.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm really honored, and it's a pleasure to be in front of you right now. Well, thank you so much for this recognition, and it's my first time to be here. Well, my family and I, my husband is over there, Reverend Leonard Policarpio. We live here in Bowie for more than 10 years. We were blessed with 3 children, and we raised them in this city. Thank you so much for keeping this city beautiful and a safe place to live. When teaching, I use my heart. I treat my students with kindness and gentleness, compassion, and understanding. And so with that, I use positive relationship to engage them in the learning process. So Mayor, council members, let us work together and hand in hand to serve and support the youth of this city, the future of this country, the future leaders of this country. Thank you so much.
All right, hold on. We have a proclamation for you that we're going to read to you right now. And then we're going to also invite up Najee Kirby from the city's Education Committee. So, a proclamation of the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, recognizing Evelyn Policarpio.
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 Good.
Bear with me, everyone. It's one of those days. Recognizing Evelyn Policarpio, Prince George's County Teacher of the Year. Whereas Evelyn, 8th grade math teacher at Benjamin Tasker Middle School, is a veteran educator, having been teaching for 35 years, and Ms. Policarpio has been serving students in Prince George's County Public Schools for 14 years, and Ms. Policarpio has received numerous awards throughout her career, including the 2021 Meggie Award by the Maryland Educations of Gifted Students, EGATE, Outstanding Maryland Educator in Gifted and Talented Education, Teacher as Leader, and 2009 Outstanding Teacher by PDK International, the AU Chapter 0151, and whereas Ms. Policarpio gets her students excited about math, supporting and challenging them, providing outstanding instruction, and creating a welcome environment, and Ms. Policarpio goes above and beyond her teaching duties, building relationships with students, families, and colleagues, and being a resource for fellow teachers, sharing strategies for services in mathematics instruction. And whereas Ms. Policarpio is an outstanding educator, most deserving of being recognized as the 2022 Prince George's County Teacher of the Year. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, hereby recognizes Evelyn Policarpio for her exceptional education to the educations of students at Benjamin Tasker Middle School, and congratulates her on being honored as the 2022 Prince George's County Teacher of the Year, presented by the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, on June 6, 2022. Timothy J. Adams, Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Why don't you come up at this moment? I think we should go down. That's for you. There you go.
Yes. So my name is Naji Kirby, and I am the chair of the City of Bowie Education Committee. And I just wanted to say that I think that teachers are one of the most powerful professions in the world. Their impact, their long-lasting impact, not only on the children that you teach, but on the community as a whole. So you have the power to shape generations, to structure minds, and to really just make the whole world a better place. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture with Ms. Policarpio? Okay.
Thank you for the applause.
Oh, thank you. So, yes. Here we go. And I think it would be nice if your husband came and joined us.
One more. Okay.
Thank you. Don't say a word. I will be attending my diction class later this week on enunciating names. Hey, thank you all so very much for bear with us. Again, that is such an honor, and you know, I take a moment just to say how much we as a council and as a city do appreciate our teachers, you know, and our educators as a whole. So thank you again so very much. Have a good evening. We will now move into a very exciting time where we will have presentations of certificates to our youth council. If our youth council could, you come on, team.
We're all getting our exercise today.
You know, we were fortunate enough to have a moment to speak with our youth council a little earlier above, and I'd like to thank Councilwoman Harrison for taking the lead on making that happen and for having provided the leadership that she has with that and the support of the entire council. It was really exciting to see our young people when we had our forum and just how they're moving forward. So again, on behalf of the entire council and the City of Bowie, we thank you so much. And so we will now have the presentation of certificates.
All right, as I call your name, please come forward and stand with us. This certificate of recognition, I'll just read one, and then as I call your name, come forward. Presented to Shelamiah Griffiths Johnson, honoring your dedication and service as an inaugural member of the Youth Council, presented on this 6th day of June, 2022, by Ingrid Harrison, Council Member at Large. Enoch Omateo. No, Shelamiah, come. Gabrielle McAllister. Joe Kellner. Stephanie Maseko. Alex Saxton. Tyler Dawkins. Olivia Liddy.
Thank you, Olivia.
Annabelle Washington. We had a couple that couldn't be with us tonight, but the last two certificates recognize our very hardworking advisors for the Bowie Youth Council. Please give Davina Hurt and Tamika Washington a round of applause. Thank you so much for your dedication to this inaugural Youth Council. Come forward, please. Thank you, my darling. No, we might as well stay. Shellamaya wanted to say something. I'm sorry. Please come. Shellamaya. I did tell him. Before we move forward.
Yes, sir. I'll try my best. Dear members of the Bowie Youth Council, thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to work alongside you. It has been a pleasure learning from all of you. I hope that in the years to come, you continue to guide the young minds of Bowie that are eager to learn about how our city functions. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to see what it is like to work with a professional government position and showing us the ropes. Watching and interacting with the members of the Bowie Youth Council has provided each and every one of us with the unique experience that has given us amazing skills that we will carry with us for the rest of our careers. Thank you for all you have done for us. Thank you, Councilwoman Ingrid Harrison, for being our liaison. Thank you, Advisor Washington and Advisor Hurt. And thank you, Ms. Pfeiffer and Ms. Hernandez. And thank you to the entire city staff. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
If, with the council's permission, would you please come up here for a moment? And I would like to invite all of you from the Youth Council up on the dais. Please, come on. What? I like them up here.
That's fine.
That's not the sweat. Come on, Michael. You guys keep on rolling down so we can get all of you up here. Come on. Here you go, Councilman. And I did this for a reason. Because I want our young people to know this is the expectation. That you at one day, maybe not here, but you one day will be the leadership of this city. That you will be the ones that we will be counting on, and all the people in the city, all the residents will be counting on for their leadership. So I think I sum it up with that picture so you can remember this. That a part of where you should be is here leading. And we ask that you stay and that we don't lose this talent because we want it here in the city, okay? And I will just use one last thing and let you go down. Shalomaya and all of you, simply outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will now, and this gives me great honor as well, we will now do a proclamation to Lisa Smith for her service to the Bowie BIC as Executive Director, recognizing her for her years of service to the city. Thank you. Would you please come forward? No, I just wanted to make sure you were close. I was waiting for you.
Cold.
A proclamation of the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, recognizing Lisa Suzanne Smith for her years of service to the city. Whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith is an experienced business incubation manager who has established 6 incubation programs in the Washington-Baltimore area over the last 25 years, and conducted business incubation feasibility studies and related projects for over 30 communities around the United States. And whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith inspired, nurtured, bolstered, and guided business incubation in Bowie since 2006. And whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith prepared the 2007 feasibility study for a business incubator in Bowie and prepared the operating plan to start the Bowie Business Incubator in 2010. And whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith served as the executive director of the city's Bowie Business Innovation Center since 2012, and whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith's executive leadership guided the 2019 Bowie Business Innovation Center's formation of Bowie Business Innovation Center's 8A Accelerator program, launched in collaboration with the United States Small Business Administration. And whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith's efforts resulted in 2020 Most Innovative Entrepreneurship Center of the Year Award from the International Business Innovation Association, INBIA, for the Bowie Business Innovation Center. Whereas Lisa Suzanne Smith's efforts resulted in that 2020 Most Innovative Entrepreneurship Center, we want to recognize you and know that now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, hereby thanks Lisa Suzanne Smith for her work, gratefully extends our most sincere best wishes in her future endeavors, and wishes her all the best in her retirement. Presented by the Council of the City of Bowie, Maryland, on June 6, 2022, Timothy J. Adams, Mayor. Congratulations. Please say a few words for us, if you don't mind.
Thank you very, very much. The time that I've worked in Bowie has really been a highlight, excuse me, of my professional career. All the things that you hope to have when you are creating and driving an entrepreneurship innovation environment were present here in Bowie. And it's just been professionally so rewarding to be able to unlock certain aspects of the city's own capabilities, as well as to draw on just a tremendous talent base, both in the public sector and through the corporate community here in Bowie. It really has been a little bit overwhelming at times, but has been just such a spectacular way to add value to a community that just grows and expands and continues to greater and greater heights. So again, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It is true, yes, I have had the experience of working with lots of different projects, but I've dearly loved all of my time here working in Bowie. It's very special. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa, I'd just like to say I feel very fortunate of having had the opportunity to work up close with you and see what you've done, particularly in that 8A Accelerator program, and knowing how important that is to so many people, and knowing how that will change the dynamic across the country. So thank you so very much again for all you've done, and again, on behalf of the council and the residents of the City of Bowie, thank you for all you've done for all of us.
Thank you very much, Mayor. You know, the mayor, the council, the city staff, the economic development director, Mr. John Henry King, they all have been just kind of what the doctor ordered in many cases for the projects that we wanted to do, and that doesn't happen by accident. And so it's been a huge pleasure to have been part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me bring you your... At this time, Madam City Clerk, I don't believe we have anything from the other city boards and committees.
No, Mayor.
Do we have any council announcements?
I got one very quick thing, Mr. Mayor. Staff, have we done anything historically to recognize Pride Month in June?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. So I've been chatting a lot with the LGBTQ community in Bowie. The Next Door group is up to 189 members. And they were all asking me this week what the city can do about this in the future, and I told them that I think recognition is an important thing. Would it be possible for us to work either as staff or with the diversity committee to draw up a resolution acknowledging June as Pride Month to have presented at our next council meeting, please? That's all I have. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Thank you.
I know I'd like to just emphasize again another congratulations and a thank you to the city staff, to all of the volunteers, to the park rangers, to the police, fire, EMT, everyone who made Bowie Fest such a phenomenal success. I will say to you, city manager, you know, we often have you in the background, but I do want to say thank you for how Bowie Fest went off. And I know Matt did a phenomenal job of putting that together and doing his thing. And so I thought Bowie Fest was something that brought us all together again. It's been a long time since we've been able to get together and really share some fun. And so that was exciting. I think I'd like to also remind people that we will be having, as we heard a little earlier, Juneteenth and Father's Day celebration here in the city, and inviting everyone to come out and share that time. And last but not least, and Tamika has gone, there will be a peace walk that will be going on next weekend, and so we hope that you can join us there. And having said that, I'll turn it over to any of my colleagues who have any other comments at this time. Okay, hearing none, we will now move on to the city manager's report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and residents out there. Thank you for acknowledging the staff's work on the Bowie Fest. I'd like to say that we were able to requisition great weather for the Memorial Day Parade and the Bowie Festival. As a matter of fact, the Bowie Festival, all of the parking was full by noon, which is phenomenal, because normally we would have things starting at 11 and would take at least till 1:30 or 2, but there were so many people out there, so many people wanted to get out and come to the events, both events, that they were great successes. Matt and his team and the Rangers did a great job, and community services really did well putting this together. The second point I'd like to make, I'd like to congratulate the City Council in passing the FY 2023 budget. That's no small task. We met like 25 Mondays in a row to get it done. And what you all have done is given us our flight plan for the next year. And we are hard at work already trying to accomplish the goals that you've set forth. Of course, as far as from a financial perspective, we are getting ready for our next, this year's annual audit. Also, the staff is hard at work, because the end of the fiscal year begins the performance evaluations we do for all the employees, and we're hard at work identifying our outstanding and high-performing employees and rewarding them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, City Manager. At this time, we will move to the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda items A through M.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to accept the consent agenda as proposed. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please respond with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same favor. Hearing none, motion carries. We will now move to the old business, which is a discussion on the mortgage foreclosure legislation. And I think we will turn a part of that over to staff for the city attorney.
Good evening. There's been,
Need your mic. Okay, thank you.
am I on?
Yeah.
That's good.
Excuse me. So there has been discussion for quite a number of weeks, as you are all aware, about potential problems with foreclosed properties in the city. This resolution is intended to do what the city can lawfully do with respect to maintaining and monitoring those properties for action within the scope of the tools that we have in our toolbox. So I have advised you previously that we don't have the authority to duplicate the state's registry, but we can use the state's registry together with the other code enforcement and property maintenance tools that we have available to make sure, to try to make sure that no properties become nuisances as a consequence of their foreclosed status. So in the resolution, there are a number of potential actions that you can authorize and direct the city staff to take in support of the idea that the city is committed to maintaining its properties in a non-nuisance condition.
Thank you so much for that. I know there's nothing we can take action on because there are still some things that we're working on, correct? Yes. And
That is my understanding. It is in staff's hands now.
okay, but I think it's important that the citizens understand that we are working on this, we are moving forward on this, and we are trying to make this happen. We will probably be looking for some answers for us to do some resolution of it and bring it back on the calendar very shortly. City Manager, when might be able to do that?
We intend to have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, good.
June the 21st. There's still some very recent edits to the document, so the public hasn't had an opportunity to see them yet, but
Okay.
we'll have that resolved in a few days, and we're going to put it on the 21st
Sounds
for
good.
you all to take action.
Hey, thank you so very much. And so that means it'll be on there. We wanted to make sure that we had some discussion so that you, the citizens, will know that we're working on this and we're moving forward. On the 21st, we should have something we should be able to act on. And so thank you so very much for that.
Mr. Mayor.
Comments? Yes.
I just want to thank city staff for their diligence on this. As you guys know, well, first let me thank Mr. Cooper for his advocacy, along with the Woodmore Highlands community for this specifically. I mean, this is going to impact the city as a whole, and so I just want to thank you guys publicly for the advocacy that you have done on this specific legislation that will come forth on the 21st. I also do want to thank city staff because we have talked a lot about this legislation, and I'm glad that we're going to be able to get something done. And Alyssa for working through what I know has been a difficult time for you and your family to get this done. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I think this is it's going to be a tremendous step forward for us and for the residents. But I want to thank you in particular for what you've done in getting this done.
Any other comments, council members? Hearing none, we will now move on to the new business. And
Mr. Mayor, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Council member Stebb's item, he requested it to be under old business for the $28,000 grant on outside dining.
oh, yes, thank you. Council member?
I forgot as well, so thank you, Wilda. Staff can tell me if we're out of order or need to adjust how we do this discussion. I've gotten feedback from members of the business community who have essentially said that we have made a lot of our outdoor dining plans earlier than our grant timeline allowed. In other words, people were already making plans for outdoor dining as early as April. I think we currently have a start date of May 1 for, I think it's the $2,500 reimbursement for purchases made. I wanted to know if council was open to pushing that back to April 1 in order to have more businesses qualify for this assistance. Still capped at $2,500, the whole program at $20,000, specifically for outdoor dining use. I wanted to know if that was something my colleagues were up to as an amendment goes.
So you really just asked if we can accelerate it by 30 days?
Correct, if we can
Okay.
go back 30 days,
All right.
yeah.
Accelerate, I start the program.
Yeah.
30 days. City manager, you see any issue with that?
No, sir, I don't see an issue with it, as long as, you know, the other requirements of the grant can be met, the criteria.
Do we need to take a vote on that, or can we
I
just
think
instruct you
so,
to move
yes.
forward?
Yes.
We need to take a vote.
So moved then,
I
Mr.
will entertain a motion.
So moved then, Mr. Mayor. We maintain our current grant program, but the start date for when receipts can have been submitted is April 1, as opposed to, I believe, May 1 or May 2.
Yes, second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please respond with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same favor. Hearing none, motion carries. We will now move on to the new business, and would like to welcome up Lisa, I'm sorry, the director of the Bowie BIC for an update.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Adams and members of the City Council. Lisa Smith here from the Bowie Business Innovation Center. As you know, we're the Business Acceleration Program that's been located on the campus of Bowie State University since 2011, as we just heard. I'm really pleased tonight to be joined by and to introduce you to Wendy Jenkins, who is the Vice Chair of the Bowie BIC Board of Directors. Wendy is a business banking relationship manager with Bank of America. And so we wanted to take a couple of minutes to bring you up to date on the many things that have been keeping us busy at Bowie BIC over the last year. And so I am going to wield the power of the clicker, and I'm going to turn it over to Wendy to kind of say a couple of quick words, and then I will follow up with some program information.
Thank you, Mayor Adams and members of the Bowie City Council. Over the past 12 months...
Excuse me, why don't you move the mic over towards you? Yeah, there you go, so everybody can hear.
Over the past year, Bowie BIC has continued to foster an entrepreneurial ecosystem to support the business growth for the businesses here in Bowie. We continue to deliver innovative programs and accelerate job and revenue growth for the businesses here in the city of Bowie, and support and connect the Bowie State University with the city, more so throughout this past year with the addition of our move to the Living and Learning Community Center. To the next. We are proud to be recognized yet again as the 6th largest Maryland Business Accelerator program by the Baltimore Business Journal. And as you will see to the left on the slide, Bowie BIC Business Accelerator Program, headquartered at Bowie State University, has a large concentration of scale-up resources in the county. Yeah. The Bowie Accelerator programs, 3 of our highlight Bowie Accelerator programs. The Bowie BIC Business Accelerator is a growth-oriented program for businesses in technology, women-owned business, and government businesses here located in the city of Bowie. The award-winning 8A Accelerator program, which has already been announced, is an amazing 8A program focused here in the city of Bowie for our 8A federal contractors, and as well our new Scale Up Accelerator program, building companies, bankability, as a part of the FSC First Level Up program. So with that and the exciting programs that we offer to the businesses here in the city of Bowie, I'm going to hand it over to Lisa.
Thank you, Wendy. I wanted to provide a little tiny bit of additional detail about those three programs. First, our core program, which is the sort of Bowie Business Innovation Center Accelerator program, which was the very first program that we stood up at Bowie State. I wanted to talk about different types of impacts that we're beginning to see, two different kinds of impacts. And ironically, both of these businesswomen are Bowie businesswomen. In the case of Silver Kennedy Associates, they have been very diligent in working with Bowie State University to establish the very first Center for Collegiate Financial Wellness within the University System of Maryland. And this is something that the Chancellor is quite interested in, and now Bowie State University is moving to establish an MOU with Silver Kennedy to get that stood up and be able to offer some meaningful kinds of training activities, counseling resources, and also Dr. Tisa Silver is a published author, and her Borrowing While Black has been featured in many publications and is very hot property with many parents of college-age students. To shift gears a little bit, Aurora Technical Services that illustrates another aspect of the kind of companies that we're working with. And Donna Wright, again, a Bowie businesswoman, is a graduate of our 8A Accelerator program. She was in the first cohort. She also then took advantage of a program I'm going to mention in a moment, which is our Scale Up Accelerator, something brand new. And she's now become a resident client at Bowie BIC because she's realized that she needs more help than just trying to do this all on her own. The 8A Accelerator program, we're gearing up for our 5th cohort, which will be in October of this year, again with sponsorship from Capital One, hopefully working with another 20 or 25 8A businesses. And this is something that has been an extraordinary experience both for Bowie BIC, but we're really heartened by the economic impact that the companies are generating, and I'll come on to that in a moment. New initiative, this Scale Up Accelerator, came about because our colleagues at FSC First invited us to help them. They were very concerned that as businesses emerge from the impacts of COVID, that many of the weaknesses within those businesses remained, and an understanding of what it means to be a bankable business really kind of led the list of reasons why many of these companies were not able to access programs, federal funding programs, county level programming. And so this whole idea of a scale-up accelerator to really sharpen business bankability understanding became important. And we were really intrigued when we launched the first one, again, with a cohort of 20, 13 of those were Bowie businesses. And so they were ready to kind of roll up their sleeves. There was a companion program to this, which we offered for the students at Bowie State as well. Theirs was not so much around bankability, it was more around the nuts and bolts and mechanics of actually starting a business. What I did find interesting, and I just wanted to, since there was such a big take-up in the scale-up program with Bowie businesses, is when we interviewed and surveyed the companies, a couple of things became really clear, and it helps us understand not only what's the profile of the companies that we're working with, but it gives us ideas for what the next steps in programming needs to be. So we were really surprised to find that of these small businesses in Bowie, 77% had no established banking relationship beyond a checking account. And their whole, the way they related with banks was not really very constructive for their businesses. It was very interesting, too, to find that that big percentage of these businesses were cash-based. Well, that tells us some interesting things, too. So I just mentioned this because when we do these kind of projects, it gives us an insight into maybe what the next steps need to be. Bowie BIC by the numbers, our core program of 18 companies is what we're talking about there when you see that number, and the jobs that they have generated, 422 with $42 million in revenues, and those numbers include our clients and our graduates. The 89 number is the number of 8A businesses who've been through our accelerator programs, and they've had some market success with new contract wins in $36 million. I would point out that we are still a management team of 3 at Bowie BIC, and we are assisted by an amazing group of counselors, the Maryland Women's Business Center and the Small Business Development Center, as well as some Bowie State interns that work with us. As far as specific Bowie support, a lot of that is generated by our counseling resources, the Small Business Development Center and the Maryland Women's Business Center. And you can see that they've been really, really busy with COVID, and lots of companies have come to them both with mechanical questions about sharpening up their financials, as well as more strategic kind of questions of, what direction should they take now that COVID has changed, let's just say, and where does that leave their business? So those counselors really do a tremendous amount of work for businesses in Bowie, just as part of their professional remit. I wanted to just share with you another exciting bit of recognition that the 8A Accelerator program has received. The International Business Innovation Association has named us as a finalist for their first Diversity and Inclusion Award, and that award will be made at their conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and Bowie BIC will be there to talk about some of the impacts that the Accelerator program has delivered, as well as to give a little bit of information about the companies that have participated. As Wendy said, a real major milestone in the life of Bowie BIC was this summer when we relocated from the Center for Business to the brand new Living Learning Community. And aside from it being a signature building for the university, it also is purpose-built for the kind of collaboration and the kind of training that we are all about. We'd been in faculty offices which were serviceable but really didn't quite fit the bill, and this has been a game changer in many respects, particularly creating new opportunities for collaboration and growth. And because of that, we have been able to sharpen up some of the existing activities that have been part of our sort of menu of services that were available to the university. And so, again, the faculty and the students have access to the counseling resources, some of the programming that we do, and then there's that where the rubber meets the road, where our interns get hired by the business community. And I'm really happy that our most recent intern who graduated in May, she was promptly hired by Clifton Larson Allen. She was a finance major. And that, I think, kind of illustrates, what is some of the real reason to have all of these resources together, talking and working together. In addition to the support that Bowie BIC provides for pitch events and things like that for the university, I just wanted to call out one thing that started as a fun event that's now become kind of a mainstay. And Global Entrepreneurship Week is celebrated around the world in November. And one of the activities that we've had a lot of fun with is Entrepreneur Open Mic Night, where entrepreneurs come and tell their story. And I will tell you that there's more businesses in Bowie that want to come tell their story than really any other group. So they're quite lively, and they also share a lot of important kind of business and life lessons. Being at the Entrepreneurship Living Learning Community, which I understand has won awards as a design, as a building design, also now is getting a lot of visibility with visitors from really all across the region, and we were really very excited to be able to host Representative James Clyburn, Peter Francho, and Darrell Barnes recently. They came through because they had heard about what was happening and they wanted to see firsthand what was really happening inside that building. So that's we're increasingly having opportunities to do that, which kind of leads us to the ultimate new partnership that we have with the university, which is through the recently announced Bowie BIC Center of Excellence for 8A Government Contracting, where we will partner with Bowie State University to deliver this project over the course of 3 years, where we will be not expanding our 8A Accelerator program to a whole network of HBCUs across the country with the help of Bowie State, doing some of the big data analysis, some of the surveying, and again, the economic impact analysis, because that is one of the areas where all the HBCUs that we've talked to say, we need to do a better job, and we're going to hope that this program will kind of set some milestones and lead the way for some really practical ideas on how that could work. I really hope that that the entire Bowie City Council is planning to be with us on Wednesday night when the very first Innovate Bowie since COVID will be in Bowie City Hall lobby. Mayor Adams is speaking, and I'm hoping that the rest of the council will join us that night. It's going to be, the interest is tremendous, I would say, from the community, so that's going to be a good thing. I want to say a very special thank you, Mayor, though, to the city staff. Nick Spurgeon and his team have just been amazing to work with. The city manager has really made it very easy for us to show off, to some extent, what's really going on in Bowie. And so we're very pleased that that has come together the way that it has. They made it really easy on us. I want to thank the members of the Bowie BIC board for their long service. I've pulled out the 4 officers here. You've met Wendy tonight. Many of you have met Sherman Ragland before. Charlene Wade is our secretary, and Greg Bussink is our longest serving board member. He's he's the remaining founding board member who was our counting resource that has become a really special piece of what goes on. And this is important because having business leaders on your board not only gives me as a executive access to great business advice like instantly, it also keeps our programs market driven because our board wants to know what are we doing, who's doing it, how are we measuring it, and have we done it yet? You know what I mean? And so it really does kind of keep you on your toes. So that is, in my mind, the real hallmark of a vibrant program to have that kind of engagement. But we have many partners in our ecosystem, public sector partners as well as our corporate partners. And the important piece here is that you need all of those pieces if you're really going to build an environment that supports business and innovation. And we have some new corporate partners that haven't even made it onto our sheet here, for example. Amazon is a new corporate partner of ours, as well as Attain Sports and Entertainment, which is the company that bought the Bowie Bay Sox. So we're having lots of opportunities to work with those. So I want to say thank you for allowing us to give you a quick update. Thank you for your support, all your good questions, keeping us, on the straight and narrow, and we're looking forward to a very exciting year coming up. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have for us.
I think first and foremost, again, thank you for all you do. At Bowie BIC has been quite the talk of the town, so to speak, nationally. And as we saw by that picture and being able, as I mentioned a little earlier, to spread that innovation and to help that grow across not just Bowie State, but other HBCUs and across the country is quite a feat. And again, thank you for that. And I'll turn it to any other council members if you have any questions.
I just want to, again, thank you, Lisa, for your continued leadership, and I especially want to thank you guys for consistently dotting your I's and crossing your T's when it comes to reporting to the city and to your other partners and sponsors on what you guys are exactly up to. Makes our lives a lot easier when we're communicating to residents why we cut checks, that we know exactly what we can point to, specific successes you've had, things you've been able to do to incubate and grow businesses in the community. And so your diligence with that in particular is really, really appreciated, because that accountability goes such a long way. So thank you for your continued leadership. Thank you for your tremendous work. We look forward to our continued partnership.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments?
Well, I've known Lisa for a long time. I think since she actually became the executive director. And I just appreciate her so much and all the great work that she's done. And you really set a fine example for leaders and what you can do to be the one person to make so much happen for other people. So I appreciate your heart and your spirit and your dedicated efforts for the residents and for the business owners here in Bowie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've always said to our team, you're known by the company you keep. And we've been so fortunate, as I said earlier, that we just have found an extraordinary team in the biggest possible sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Our next item is the discussion of the Bel Air driving speed, the speed on Bel Air.
I actually asked to have this added to the agenda. I received a call from a resident who lives on Bel Air Drive and has some serious concerns about the speeding. And I believe our city clerk sent out the letter to you all this afternoon, later this afternoon, to share what his concerns are. So he's looking for some calming devices to be placed on the road in certain places off Bel Air Drive. So I've spoken with our city manager and let him give kind of a historical perspective and share some insight into this issue.
Good evening. The evidence indicates that a speed traffic assessment was done in this region of Bel Air Drive in 2019. And it met the standards for level 2 speed calming devices, such as speed humps and other constricting, road constricting devices. Subsequently, there was a community meeting held at, I believe, Ken Hill, and where people came out to, when we were considering this, and there was an exceptional outcry not to have speed humps and those calming devices in their neighborhood. And so the issue, as we, in mathematically speaking, was canceled out by the desires of the residents. And so the issue here is speed on Bel Air Drive. In my experience, is even when you have speed humps and speed bumps, and we had too many to speak of in the city of College Park and Tacoma Park, what invariably happens is, in between the speed humps, people accelerate because they've been slowed down, and so you have that phenomenon occurring. What ought to happen, what the best thing for this, it might be the institution of a speed camera at certain areas. And of course, we are still in the process, the city, of transitioning to having speed cameras that can be placed in locations other than in the vicinity of schools. And presently, I think staff is working on the latest document that would change the code, and they've just received input from the city attorney. And so there's a process there that should take another few weeks, I would assume, unless there's some roadblock that I'm not aware of. And then we will be bringing that back for you all to consider that code change. So we can, in fact, be in compliance with the state and put the speed cameras somewhere other than in the vicinity of schools. Once that occurs, there would be a procurement process to get a contractor who could, in fact, install and manage these types of speed cameras. And of course, I know the chief's on the line, but I did speak with the deputy chief today. We are looking at just the types of speed cameras that can be portable. You all have seen those throughout the county. And initially there would be a warning phase before citations would be written in, but that's pretty much standard, I believe, except someplace in the county where they got me a few years ago, but they just popped up. But anyway, but this could all take several months, and we do have a logistical issue with a speed camera contract in place that expires next year for the cameras we have in the vicinity of schools. So what we'll be endeavoring to do is to get if possible, a contract with someone to do speed cameras under the new system and who can take over when this other contract expires. That's what we're looking for, but this could take several months. That's where we are. But we do know that the residents in that neighborhood do not want speed humps. And there's no evidence to support that they've changed their mind. But at some point, I would expect, when we get close to, when we get the contract ready and we're ready to position speed humps, I would think within 60 and 90 days of that, we would need to have another community meeting like the one we did for Forest Drive recently, and to find out just what the residents feel, how they feel because we, about speed cameras, because we hate to put them out there and then have people up in arms about that.
Okay.
So the next step, I know you mentioned changing the code.
Yes.
When would that come back to the council?
We are endeavoring to have that ready for the 21st of June.
Okay.
And that would be a positive step, if not the first one in July, but that's our target.
Okay, and then once that happens, what would be the next step?
The next step would be to procure a contractor to do this, to install and manage the speed cameras for us the same way we have somebody doing the others. And we have a contracting officer. We've got to go through dot our I's and cross our T's on that one. And a procurement process can take 45 to 60 days, and to get somebody. And then there's a review process of 3 to 4 weeks there. So we could be bringing you, if everything went perfect, we could be bringing a contract back for approval in 3 to 4 months.
So when do you believe we should host a community meeting to get the feedback from the other residents?
I think we should schedule that once we've picked a contractor and had a chance to talk to them, and to see what their timelines and what their logistics are for being able to put something on the street. But I would think, but then when we're like 60 days away from assigning locations, we should get with our community outreach guys and have some sort of meeting with the people on Baylor Drive to see what they want. Because I have one that works in my neighborhood, works in my office, who is not affirmative to any speed humps and that sort of thing, but I'm sure there are many opinions over there on that.
One more question, the process timeline. When do you see us getting to the point of contract and then meeting with the residents? Around the time frame as far as months?
I mean, I project that if things go right, we would be able to meet with the residents in October or early November for sure to find out what they want. That's if everything goes right.
Okay, so you'll keep us apprised of.
Yes,
how
well,
things move.
I'll ride herd on the chief of police and make sure he keeps the process going. And when we get to the point where we are ready to meet with the residents, we'll bring the community services guys together and outreach guys and reach out to the residents, just like we did with Forest Drive, which was a very successful event.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, City Manager. Any other questions or issues regarding this?
Real quick.
Council member?
Yes, so I don't represent the residents in that area. Councilmember Harrison does, and I do trust her judgment on this. One question I have, though, I seem to recall that when we discussed the city's trails master plan, we included the adoption of the Bowie Byway, which, if memory serves, included Bel Air Drive down to the Ken Hill Center or down to like Keyport or somewhere along there. And if I'm not mistaken, That included bike lanes, complete streets, chicanes, all sorts of things that would create visual cues for drivers to drive a bit slower, because one of the things we tend to find with speeding is that people don't drive the speed limit, they drive the intuitive width of the road. So when they get on 193 and it looks like a superhighway, they drive 65. When they get on Bel Air, it looks like a wide road, so they drive 45, 55. I'm wondering if that Trails Master Plan interacts at all with any potential plans we may have for the road, even if it's just we check to see that that in fact is in its future. If it's in the near-term future, we may want to consider that. Lest we put in speed humps or take some other action and then end up having to undo them later to accommodate another plan.
Well, we'll review that, Mr. Esteban, and see if they're synchronized or any conflicts.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Any other comments from council? No. Thank you, City Manager. We will now move on to the discussion of the Juneteenth celebration.
Mr. Mayor, that was an idea, I think that was your.
Yeah, the thing I was asking about that, and we had a gentleman come up and speak a little earlier in open, earlier talking about the Juneteenth celebration. I was just wondering if you happen to have the actual schedule available?
Can,
All right, thank you.
well, Ms. Cunningham will give you the schedule, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. The Diversity Committee has been working quite diligently to bring a host of activities for the city to experience for Juneteenth this year. The Senior Center will have a singer at noon at the Senior Center who will sing different songs from the diaspora. We also have on Friday evening the Hidden Figures movie that will be at the amphitheater at Allen Pond Park. On Saturday, we have the Juneteenth Jubilee with the Coalition of African Americans for Performing Arts. They will be performing from 2 to 3 p.m., and we will also have members of First Baptist Church of Glenarden perform. On Sunday, June the 19th, we also have the Juneteenth Sunrise Walk and Workout, where we are encouraging residents to come and work out at Centennial Park. And we have a fitness instructor who will help lead some exercises. Then there's the Fathers and Family Bike Ride at 9 a.m., leaving from Allen Pond Park to Annapolis. Then there's also the Fathers and Family Juneteenth celebration, also at Allen Pond at 12 p.m. And then we will end the Juneteenth celebration with the Sunday Sunset concert with the Proverbs Reggae Band at 7 a.m. at Allen Pond. And we'll have giveaways for most of these events as well.
Hey, thank you so very much, and that sounds like a very exciting weekend plan. And again, thank you, staff and everyone, for working and putting that together. And we'll make sure we get the word out and have everyone come out and celebrate. Hey, thank you very much. All right, at this time, I don't see any other items on the agenda, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please respond with an aye.
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 Opposed, same favor. Hearing none, motion carries. Hey, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming out this evening, and to all those who are watching. We appreciate you. City staff, all of you, and to my fellow council members, thank you so very much for all you do. I will, we've adjourned, but you please come on if you'd like to say something.
First of all, Mr. Fernandez, thank you for taking David Boone. We've had some communication. How you doing? No problem. You're welcome. I've been, we're residents of Bowie, and we've been here for almost 50 years. My wife and I, our first house is here. We bought our house. We graduated from Prince George County Schools. We have three daughters. They've all graduated from Prince George's County Schools. 2 of them have graduated with high honors from Maryland University. 3 of our daughters currently live right here. The biggest problem that I've had, and I've had it now for a number of years, and I've sent a number of letters to the mayor, previous mayor, and I've just recently sent one to you, and I sent a copy to Ms. Hernandez to provide to you in case you hadn't gotten it already. It's about the traffic situation, not just on Bel Air. I understand Bel Air is kind of a hot spot right now because of the bumps and everything down there, but we live on Cambridge Drive. Cambridge Drive is undoubtedly the worst high-traffic, dangerous street in Bowie, in my opinion. I live there, so I can sit and look out my window and see the traffic that goes by. There isn't, I don't think, anybody that does the speed limit on Cambridge. We've had 2 cars hit on Cambridge, 2 personal cars. We've had some friends who were over that had their rearview mirror taken off by speeders and reckless drivers. At one point, there was I don't know what the device is, but it tells you how fast they're going on Cambridge. It didn't help at all because it looked like it just speeded up traffic. And I'd like to know, since a lot of attention is being paid to Bel Air, what's going to happen to Cambridge, especially now with the ongoing development in Melwood. They make that a thoroughfare coming from Melwood right up Cambridge and on down to 50, I assume.
I will answer that for you right now.
And if I might just finish.
Oh, okay, I thought you had done.
No, and now with the widening of Route 197, those people who typically use that right now use Cambridge to get to other places in Bowie. It's going to get much worse, obviously, because everybody is going to now continue to use Cambridge to come out and get into the new 197 widening and go wherever they're going. I'd like to know what is going to happen to a lot of the side streets in Bowie, but my main concern is my street, my Cambridge Drive street. At one point, somebody, I don't know who did it or how long ago it was, but they put a strip. I guess it was counting cars. I'm not sure what the purpose of it was. But if they can count cars, they could probably count speed limits on one of those devices. I don't know what the deal would be. But I think if you put some sort of a device across the street on Cambridge, most of it is coming from Kenilworth Elementary and coming down, and it hits Kent Hill. The traffic just backs up there all the time, especially when school's out. When it gets down to Kent Hill, you'll see the traffic backed up there, or parents waiting for the kids to get out of Tasker. It's just an ongoing nightmare. And I've been trying to get this thing fixed now for, I don't know, at least, I don't know how far your records go back, but you can see all the letters I've written here. And I've had absolutely zero response from anybody as to what can be done.
Well, what I'd like to say to you at this point is I know the meeting has officially ended, but City Manager, as we're taking a look at Bel Air, could we include Cambridge to take a look at and see what's going on with the speed?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I drive Cambridge regularly. My daughter lives in Kingsfield Drive, and I do the speed limit, by the way. But the best thing we can do for you, sir, is to put that street in the queue for a traffic study.
I'm sorry, I can just barely hear you, sir.
Okay, the best thing we can do is put the Cambridge Drive, correct? Mm-hmm. in the queue for a traffic study. And where our guys go out there and they put down the counters and they measure the volume of traffic and the speed of the people coming through there. And to see if it warrants, based on the standards that the council has already set, traffic calming devices of any sort. And we can put that, and it may take 30 days to get that, or more to get that done, because we have some ahead of you. that we're doing elsewhere in the city. We
It's
only
taken
have,
more than 20 years just to.
well, we'll get it done a lot faster than that, I tell you that. And we'll get it done and get back to you. I mean, but, you know, the standards are pretty high in the city for what constitutes a traffic calming device. And that's, but those standards are set by the council and by us, so it's measured in levels, and we look at the volume of traffic and the speed of people coming through. What we can do is get the chief of police and/or the public works department to place the speed radar trailer in that neighborhood, and that also helps slow people down. What vicinity of Cambridge would you be talking about? What block would you want to?
We live at 12320 Cambridge, it's three houses.
So the 1200 block of Cambridge then?
12,000.
12,000, excuse me, 12,000 block of Cambridge.
Yes.
All right.
It's everywhere from the top of Kent Hill, top of Cambridge where the school is, Kenilworth, all the way down to Kent Hill.
Right.
It's just, I invite anybody who wants to come over. You can sit in my house and look out the window, and you can see the maniacs going up and down. And it's everywhere from trucks, buses, all kinds of heavy-duty equipment, motorcycles. You put something on wheels, and they're speeding on Cambridge. It's not just speeding, it's reckless driving. They pass me coming down Cambridge. I can't even get out. This is my wife, Nola. We can't get out of our driveway. We can't get out of our driveway without looking and slowing and just inching on out, and they still come right up behind you and ride your bumper to get to where they're going. I don't know how they get there. It's a wonder they have. It's a wonder somebody hasn't gotten killed. And I tell you right now, I predict if something isn't done, there's going to be a fatality on that stretch of highway.
Well,
I predict that.
Well, sir, the good part is the city manager is taking it for action. We will immediately start looking at that, and there will be action done, and you won't have to worry years or anything else. And we appreciate you talking, and and we will get back information. I'm sure you will see things being done, and then we'll be able to discuss a little further about where we are, okay?
I appreciate your time, Mr. Mayor, and everybody here. I appreciate your time, especially Ms. Hernandez. She's a gold mine. Keep her.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, you can do something that you can get my hydrant, the fire hydrant painted on our street. I've sent letters on that too, and nothing. It's a disaster. Matter of fact, I volunteered to go out and paint the thing myself, and I was told, no, you can't do that. We have a contract with people who paint the hydrant, and you probably do, but the thing is a nightmare. Take a walk, ride, jog, do whatever you need to do. Well, look at the fire hydrant out in front of our house. It's a nightmare.
Thank you
again
so much
for all your time.
Thank you. And you and your wife, please be safe this evening, okay?
Yes, you too.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming in.